My name is Delta Lou, and today we're going to be discussing this third installation of the Intro to McDowell series. We're going to be discussing the song What's the Matter Now, tying in the concepts that we discussed in the first and second part of this series. They're going to make an appearance yet again in here, and this time around we're going to be looking at McDowell's use of heavy slide rhythms. One of the more this is a particular song in his repertoire that's more of this rugged Delta style. It's drawing away from these rolling country rhythms, and in this song we're focusing on this really cutthroat, rough style of Delta blues playing, this muggy, muddy style, almost like similar to like Charlie Patton and Son House. So this is kind of in the same way. We're revisiting this pull-off lick that we looked at earlier, and we'll also be looking at, there's more emphasis on the slide this time around, and this will help you transition into later pieces as we continue on from this lesson. So what we're going to do now is we're going to tune our guitars to each other. I've tuned up to a tuner again just to get fresh and started, since we've been doing a lot of playing from the first two lessons. So this is my top string. It's going to be a D. This is my fifth string. It's going to be an A. This is going to be a D string. This is going to be my third string. That's going to be an F sharp. This is going to be my second string. It's going to be an A. This is going to be my bottom string. It's going to be a D. And you strum it, and we are in tune to each other. So before we get started, we're still talking about maintaining the same concepts of right hand techniques and left hand. We're facilitating the same structure where the thumb is concentrating on the bass strings and the index finger is going to be plucking and picking predominantly on the first, second, and third strings, and you're going to be producing this kind of pinching together motion. We're trying to get the right hand to make that commonplace, build it into its memory. And this is the main purpose of this three-part installation, Intro to Fred McDowell. So what we're going to do, since we're pretty well acclimated with the first previous sessions, we've got our right hand positioning concepts. This time around, and in this playing, this is where you could bring out a resophonic guitar or a resonator. This would be the ideal song to play something on. Also, this sounds pretty awesome on an electric guitar, but for this purpose, let's stick with acoustic, or if you have a resophonic, you can bust that out now and tune to me accordingly or whatnot. In a song like this, I had to pull out the brass slide, and this is where we're playing in this rugged style. A brass makes a lot of sense. You don't want to play with the glass slide because that's more for the finesse. The rolling country rhythms is more of the instances we're going to use a glass slide. But this is a brass slide, and it works so perfectly with a song like this, What's the Matter Now? And we're going to go over how we apply that slide to the measure further on in the song. I'm going to discuss how to put the pressure on the strings when we get there. So this is going to be a pretty exciting song. It's definitely a characteristic component of his playing, and it's also in a style that reappears over and over again throughout his repertoire. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the first measure, and it's going to be also like in a continuous loop once we get this measure down. everything will be pretty straightforward. So ultimately what we're looking at is a series of 9 notes again. These are 9 notes, 9 components that are going to be repeated in a loop. So we'll go over that piece by piece over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is the first 4 notes are going to be pretty imperative here, and very easy and commonplace. What they're going to be, you're going to start off this song, it's just going to be the top string is going to open off, cap up this song. That's going to be the first note, is just this open string, and then you're going to play this pull off. Okay, and that's what we're going to go over here. So the first note is this bass string, and then the second, third, and fourth note is going to be this pull off again. But this time around, you have an option of either doing a pull off or fretting all of those strings. So the second note, you're going to pluck the third string open, and the third note you're going to press on the first fret, third string, and then you're going to play the open string open on the third string again. And then the fifth note here is going to be the fourth string open. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The thumb is going to strike the first note, and the index finger is going to play the next 4 notes. Or you can play that as a pull off. 1, so if you were to play it as a pull off, you would fret that first fret and just pull off, and then just go to right to the fourth string. So as a pull off, it would be like this: 1, 2. No, we'll start over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As a pull off. You can do it either way. You can fret it out, or you can play it as a pull off. Whatever's more comfortable for you. I would recommend you play it as a pull off, just as a standpoint for practice. So once you go ahead and play those 5 notes, take practice with that and go over back and forth until you get that down. Fairly straightforward and simple. So let's get that out of the way. It's very simple. And this next component is after he plays this, after this 5th note, and he's last left off on the 4th string open, he's gonna start this very typical slide lick, which goes like this. That's what we're going to go over here. Now in McDowell's music, he plays this, the way he applies the pressure on the slide and the thumb, it's a really kind of chunky way of playing. It's this really Delta blues sound. And in application here, you actually want to be pretty aggressive in the way that you press on the strings. In this component, you want to, you know what I mean? You really want to emphasize and be aggressive in the way that you dampen down on the strings. So playing this lick is going to be a component of 4 notes. The first note's going to be on the top string, 3rd fret. It'll be like this. You're gonna play everything with the thumb The thumb is going to be playing all of the notes here. So the first note, you're going to take the slide, you're going to hover over the 3rd fret, and you want to put a little bit more pressure and tension pressing on the strings, and you're going to press that first note. With the thumb is going to be playing the 6th and 5th string down together simultaneously. I'm playing the 6th and 5th string like as a chord. That's for that first installation in this 4-part series. Four-part series of notes. So that's the first note. We're on the top string. Then the next note's going to be open on the 5th string. 1, 2, and then the 3rd note is going to be, you're going to be sliding over the 5th string on the 3rd fret, and the thumb is going to be playing, striking the 5th string. 5th and 4th string together. And then the 4th note's going to be the 4th string open. So all together it'll be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you end with the top string. And that caps off. So it's 5 notes together, but this that caps it off together. It's 5 notes in all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you play the lick again. Okay, and we're gonna bridge it all together. We're gonna play from that series on. So basically you just got the whole riff of the song right here. And we're gonna go pretty slowly here. So when you open up this song, you start off with the open chord on the top string, the open string on the top string. Okay, and the way you slide over the 3rd fret, the more you toggle back and forth, the more it produces this delta effect, this dynamic, this. You know what I mean? And you wanna give a little bit more strength in the way you apply on the strings. Very cool. Little technique there, and you just play that loop continuously over and over again. Now what's cool about this is that it reappears over and over again throughout his repertoire. You'll be able to hear it by ear. So when a song like 61 Highway, which is not that far away from this song, it's in the same tuning, he utilizes the same components. He'll be like this. So it'll be like this. Lord, that 61 highway, it's the longest road I know. You know what I mean? He's exploring in the same concepts. He's on the 3rd fret and he's playing this. You know what I mean? You'll be able to hear it in his repertoire. Now that's a song that we're going to go over in the next installation, but it's something to let your ear engage as you listen to the rest of his repertoire. So we've discussed this lick. Notice that the index finger is only playing this lick, and the thumb is playing everything else. Now I'm going to go really slow here before we move on, so it'll be like this. Now you can follow along. Okay, that's something for you to go over. The tablature is there for you to take and learn. So after he plays this, he ends with that top note, and this next installation is kind of cool. He's going to be playing this this little break here. It's going to sound like this. I wonder. Something that we're going to go over here shortly. So this installation, this break here, is basically a very easy component. It's laid out for you in the tablature. But basically the thumb and the index finger, the thumb is, you're going to be playing this kind of double stop, pinching like this. Notice what the right hand is doing. Pinching motion, and what you're going to do is you're going to be fingering the second string and the second fret. That's the only thing that you're going to be fingering, and you're going to play with the index finger the first and second string together, and the thumb is going to be playing the sixth string. So you're going to be playing these two components at the same time. Very easy, but that's the way it should be played. In other songs, he'll go to the third fret, second string. Sometimes on the fifth fret, second string. You know what I mean? He utilizes that component in some other songs, which I'll bring about to you in some future lessons. So, what we're going to do is continue on from there. So he plays this, I wonder, baby, what's the matter now? So after he plays this, he plays the top string open and he lets that ring out. Okay, very simple component. But when he gets into this part, it will be this next installation will be a little bit tricky, and you will, in this next measure, we're going to be looking at this component, which will go like this. Baby, what's the matter now? Okay, and what we're going to do, what we're going to look at here is it's a series of 5 notes before it leads off to that pull off, which we discussed earlier in this segment. So the first 3 notes, you're going to identify the bottom string on the 3rd fret. The first 2 notes are going to be played with the index finger, and you're going to slide on the 1st fret, on the 3rd fret bottom string. And the first 2 notes are going to be on the 3rd fret bottom string, and you're going to slide, and you're going to say the word baby. So it'll be like this. Baby, baby. That's 1, 2. Then you're going to play the open string on the bottom. Baby, what? Baby, what? And then when you say the word the, you're gonna the 4th note in this segment is going to be on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and you're going to slide that. And so the first 4 notes will be like this. Baby, what's the matter? So that's 2nd string, 3rd fret. After that, you're going to play the 2nd string open. So the first 5 notes will be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he ends with the lick. Except that this time around, he's just starting on the 1st fret, 3rd string. And he plays this, then the 3rd string open, and then capping off on the 4th string open. So I'll count that out. It's going to be 8 notes altogether. So it'll be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And when you sing that out, it'll be like this. Baby, what's the matter now? 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 Baby, what's the matter? Baby, what's the matter now? And then he plays the top string open, and he goes back into that lick. Baby, what's the matter now? Baby, what's the matter now? I worked hard yesterday morning when a rooster crowed a day. I was young yesterday morning when a rooster crowed days. And so yeah, so he continues on with that. And he continues on onto that lick. So what we went over here was this component that goes like this. What's the matter now? Okay, and then there's going to be another portion here, a part of this stanza where he's ending it, and he'll be like this. I worked hard yesterday morning, baby, what's the matter now? And that's laid out on the tablature at the very end. And we're going to go over that here shortly. So what we did go over is this, baby, what's the matter now? It goes back into this riff. goes back into this again. I wonder, baby, what's the matter now? And that's the end of that stanza. That's where he ends that verse. So we're looking right now at this component, which goes, when he goes like this, baby, oh, I wonder, baby, what's the matter now? We're going to be looking at here shortly. And I've laid that for you in the tablature. So when he goes into this component that we talked about earlier, now what he's doing, he's going to play, after this, he plays the top string open, lets that ring, and he constructs this next lick, which is going to be a series of, again, 8 notes, 9 notes. So he plays this, the top string open, you let it ring, and then you're going to play the bottom string open, which sounds like this. That's the first note in that, and it'll be like this, babe, and then you're going to locate the second string on the 3rd fret, and you're going to slide. You're going to position your slide over in that area, and your index finger is going to be plucking over the 2nd string while you have that fretted. Right? So that first note will be open string. The second note is going to be the 3rd fret, 2nd string. And you're going to play that 4 times now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we're looking at 5 notes altogether. The first note is open. And then the next 4 notes are going to be on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you want to go from the beginning of the fret marker to the second part of the fret marker. And you want to create this kind of soft tension. Right? And when you speak out the lyrics to that, it'll sound like this. Baby, what's the matter now? So the first 5 notes, again, are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then he plays the 2nd string open. And then so these 6 notes will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2nd string open, and then the lick. Baby, what's the matter now? Baby, what's the matter now? And again, that 2nd string is, the index finger is, plucking upward. And you're toggling back and forth about the 3rd fret. And you're plucking that 2nd string. And the index finger is playing that lick again. And that lick will be on the 3rd string, 1st fret, then the 3rd string open, and then you cap it off with the open string on the 4th string. And then back to the riff. So again, fairly easy concepts. We're going to bridge this together to show you what I mean. So let's start from the beginning. It's this main riff, fairly easy. And we'll kick it off like this, and we'll slow it down. So here we go. We'll go like this. keep on going. And notice in that second portion, it's a little bit different. Baby, what's the matter now? And that's the way that he ends his stanza. And that's meaning that you go on to the next verse. So I'm going to apply the lyrics with you for this song. This is really cool. And if you listen to the original recording, it's just a totally awesome song. It's playing on the porch, and it's just this powerful dynamic to it. But again, it's a very cool piece that's, in this regard, focusing on the more delta side of his repertoire. You're utilizing the brass slide, and again, you're playing over the playing these notes on the second string with this brass slide. They're going to reappear in other songs, like 61 Highway. You know what I mean? And that's something that we're going to go over in the next lesson. You know, that's what we're going to start off with in the next lesson, which is a little bit more involving of a song. But this is a perfect song here as an introduction to a whole plethora of his other songs. You know, take a listen to the LPs. See if you can pinpoint and identify notes by ear. You know what I mean? So you can have a lot of fun with this song. And what's great about the song is if you plug this up on the electric, get the reverb up and the distortion, and just rock out with the slide, you create a Delta blues environment that really kind of separates you from more of the standard kind of cliche Delta songs. That's why McDowell's music is so vivid, it's so imaginative. It separates itself from the kind of the usual, like Eric Clapton stuff, which is so it's almost like too common. You know, this is unique in its own right, and it gives you this kind of Delta blues dynamic sound. So capping off, you know, this is the end. This is the installation, the end of the installation of the third lesson part of this three-part series. You know, and this was important for you to get your feet wet in many of the angles of what Fred McDowell is trying to do. He has a country angle, he's got a Delta slide, a more rugged angle, and we're also tying in the elements of fingerpicking. You know, simple, fundamental characteristics, building the memory in your hand so it can come virtually effortless as you continue on in your repertoire. Also, what we looked at is the way the slide is being utilized in some of these songs that I taught you. The brass is going to be more of an aggressive tone, whereas in the more rolling country picking ones, the emphasis on the slide is not so heavy. A song like this, there's heavy emphasis on the slide. You want to put more power and force and more of this toggling between the fretboards to give you that rugged sound. It's ultimately about expression, about how you feel too. The more you put the finesse into the slide, how you toggle it, how you ring out the notes, is more mimicking your feeling and your expression in the way that you play. You know what I mean? You control that in a way. So I feel that you have a lot of material to work with, and really pay attention to all of the licks, the pull-offs, what we talked about, sliding on the first and second fret. Get familiar with those concepts really well, because they're going to reappear over and over again in other songs of his repertoire. These song selections right now are the most basic of his catalog. They're gonna get a lot more difficult as you carry on, but this is a good starting point. You know what I mean? Practice and become a master at this material. It's enough for you to to really study and focus and get good. And once you get that loop, that click, where your hand becomes mechanical, where you don't think about it anymore, then you can do whatever you want in this music. Then the possibilities are endless. So again, we're going to be wrapping off this first installation of Intro to McDowell. In the next installation, we're going to be looking at Highway 61, which is more like this song, What's the Matter Now, but a little bit more involved. And we're going to look at some other kind of compositions that are more in the vein of the country style, the first earlier recordings. So we're going to look at a gospel song, perhaps two gospel songs that are a little bit more difficult and challenging, and that's why I wanted you to master these concepts here, to utilize this kind of finger-picking disciplines in your right hand before we move on. And once you get that, we'll look at his electric stuff, which is a little bit more intricate and more complicated. So again, congratulations on getting this far, and best wishes to you in your learning campaign. It's always definitely exciting playing something that is so so genuine to our culture. You know, American music has so much integrity, and it's great that, you know, there's people around the world who appreciate that ingenuity that that helps shape rock and roll music as we know today. So my name is Delta Lou, and good luck and to your success. So thanks so much. It's been a pleasure.